An alchemist was searching for immortality, but what he found was a force powerful enough to change the fate of kings and empires. A silent black powder, yet its impact was devastating. It shattered castles, transformed armies, pierced mountains, and altered the course of human history. Today, we explore the story of gunpowder. Welcome to Simple Things, Incredible History. First, what is gunpowder? Gunpowder, also known as black powder, is a carefully balanced mixture of three fundamental components: potassium nitrate, saltpeter, charcoal, sulfur. On their own, these substances seem ordinary, but when combined, they transform into something entirely different. A chemical reaction capable of releasing energy suddenly and powerfully. Potassium nitrate provides oxygen. Charcoal serves as the fuel. Sulfur lowers the ignition temperature and accelerates combustion. The secret of its power lies in the precise balance between these three elements. The story of gunpowder begins in the late 9th century during the Tang Dynasty. Chinese alchemists, in their search for the elixir of eternal life, were experimenting with different substances. What they discovered was not immortality, but a reaction that was difficult to control. At first, this mixture was not used for war, but for spectacle. Fireworks, ritual ceremonies, displays of light and sound. But it did not take long for its military potential to be recognized. Simple rockets were developed. Primitive explosives were created. Flame-throwing weapons appeared. The knowledge traveled along the Silk Road to the Middle East, and from there to Europe. Over the centuries, it was refined and eventually became central to military technology. When gunpowder reached Europe, stone castles symbolized military dominance. But once cannons entered the battlefield, those thick walls were no longer invincible. By the 15th century, the use of large-scale artillery dramatically changed siege warfare. Battles that once lasted months could now end in days, even hours. This transformation affected not only warfare, but also urban design. Fortifications became lower, thicker, and angled. Military architecture was redesigned. The spread of firearms also reshaped society. Armored knights, who required years of training, were gradually replaced by soldiers who could be trained to use firearms in a much shorter time. The balance of power shifted. Gunpowder transformed naval warfare as well as land battles. Cannons mounted on ships became the defining element of maritime dominance. This military strength helped protect trade routes and supported exploration of new continents. Indirectly, gunpowder contributed to the development of global trade networks and the foundations of the modern world. How is gunpowder made? The production of gunpowder requires precision and care. Potassium nitrate. Historically obtained from the decomposition of organic waste, it supplies the oxygen necessary for combustion. Charcoal. Produced by heating wood in a low-oxygen environment, a process known as pyrolysis. Its lightweight, porous structure allows it to burn rapidly. Sulfur. Often mined from volcanic regions, sulfur makes ignition easier. The traditional ratio is approximately 75% potassium nitrate, 15% charcoal, 10% sulfur. Even small variations in these proportions can significantly affect performance. The ingredients are ground into a fine powder and carefully mixed. The mixture is then dried and formed into uniform grains. Grain size matters. Smaller grains burn faster. Larger grains burn more slowly and in a more controlled manner. Finally, the gunpowder must be thoroughly dried and stored safely, since heat, friction, and sparks can be extremely dangerous. The impact of gunpowder extended far beyond the battlefield. It made breaking rock in mining far easier. Tunnels were carved. Mountains were pierced. Railways and roads were constructed. Construction projects accelerated. The foundations of modern infrastructure were laid. And ironically, a substance developed for destruction also became a symbol of celebration. Fireworks became an essential part of festivals and national celebrations around the world. Over time, scientists gained a deeper understanding of combustion and explosive reactions. As chemistry advanced, more powerful and controlled explosives were developed. Yet black powder remained a foundational reference point for centuries. This discovery also illustrates the power of experimentation. When chance meets curiosity and systematic study, it can spark a revolution. What began in the laboratory of an alchemist became a global transformation. 3 simple substances, the right proportion, and human curiosity. Gunpowder stands as an early and powerful example of humanity's desire to understand and harness the forces of nature. Sometimes, what changes the world is not a complex machine, but a simple mixture discovered at the right moment. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Which simple thing would you like us to explore next? Let us know in the comments.